let's be real, guys. Most gaming news sites and newsletters take way too long to read. There's filler content, corporate PR talk, and hundreds of things you don't need to know. I also noticed there was echo in the background. But anyways, that's why you need to subscribe to the Game Industry Executive Summary newsletter. Okay? Every week, we cut through the noise and give you just the biggest news, trends, and numbers shaping the industry. Fast, clear, no fluff. If you're a corporate exec, make games, or run a studio, okay, this is the only newsletter that will actually respect your time. So don't waste another second. Sign up now. Go to guysweekly.substack.com. That was it. What do you think?
That's a good little ad. Well done.
I will subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Show me where to click.
Okay, let's start the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games Industry Executive Summary. With us, of course, as always, the dashing Dave Thier.
Here I am.
There you are. Welcome on board, Dave. Nice to see you.
Always good to be here.
In a hoodie this time.
Yeah, no, I don't have my cozy orange sweater because it is over there. It's on that yellow chair, which you cannot see.
Hopefully we'll be able to have it next time then.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Okay, of course. And then the office man himself, again, Manu Rosier. Welcome back, Manu.
Hello. Wait, am I on mute? No, I'm good.
You're not mute.
Yes. All right, let's go. Hoodies day.
Hoodie day.
You are not on brand today.
We are not on brand today. No match.
Next week, everyone hoodies, everyone glasses, and everyone needs to get to my level beard-wise.
Yes, we need to do that.
To be taken seriously. Glass is good. Beard is good. Hoodie, not that much. So maybe we need t-shirt, glass, and beard. That's probably the best combo.
We'll do matching. Yeah. We are going to games, Nordic Game, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll be able to do something.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get us merch, by the way.
Okay, I'll get some merch.
We'll see if we can make that happen. Gentlemen, what has been going on? I actually miss you, just so you know. Like, I was really excited about coming here to talk to you today.
Well, we're always excited to talk to you.
I'm always excited as well. Thank you. But today specifically, I don't know why. There's something in the air.
I'm always happy to speak to you, but it also means that I will have to talk a lot, which is like double sword effect. I'm happy to talk, but I also know it needs investment if I want to say interesting stuff. So the easiest part is now. The more workload is to get the newsletter together, but the talking is probably the easiest one.
Well, we appreciate your analysis, of course. You might have, by the way, you've noticed our YouTube channel is like almost, getting a lot more content and blowing up a bit. I'm not sure if you're following that stuff.
Okay, that's good news. We're
all about
striking out in the world.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
I was going to show you our new content, but I just need to change the account here to get that, and I'll share my screen. So let's see if I go to YouTube Studio, or maybe I actually just need to go to the channel. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But
if you want to see like traffic and stuff, the channel's probably the easiest way to do it.
Yep, there you go. So we did get a new person on board to help us out a bit, so that's really appreciated. What's interesting, Manu, I'm in my doom scrolling moments.
Yes.
I'm actually getting our stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is amazing. Yes.
We hope to not instill doom within you, though. I guess we'll only instill doom if there's doom around. We will not shy from doom.
Absolutely. This one was one of the most performing ones about Kingdom Come Deliverance. A lot of cool stuff with that one specifically. A lot of positive feedback on the interwebs.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So for those who are listening, if you want to subscribe or look for us, either search Games Industry Executive Summary, or search for Guys Weekly, and you'll find us across multiple platforms. Do we want to talk about any games you've been playing? I mean, are you still into? If I ask Manu first, are you still into Kingdoms Come?
I've not played Kingdoms Come. I only mentioned it. I'm not playing it. I don't have time. No, but you have to play a game about digging a hole. This is the
I'm digging
number
the
one
holes.
hype game right now.
All right. Okay. What's up? What's up?
I mean, hey, you dig a hole, right?
You wish you wouldn't know.
I will bring that up. I feel like
It is literally called a game about digging. Yeah. Okay. I'm buying that so hard. I actually just bought Kingdom Come Deliverance just now, moments ago. But now I've found something better.
Yeah, this is the real deal, right?
What I would like to add here, I feel like this is the exact same team as Power Wash Simulator, but it's probably not, right?
It is interesting. I mean, I'm just looking at this trailer, and everyone has had that fantasy as a kid of going out into the backyard and digging a hole. You know,
we used to set up traps for our friends, like in the playground, like make a hole and then cover it up, and then lead someone to that hole and see them fall through it.
Put sharpened bamboo sticks underneath it.
But there is no relationship between this game and Power Wash. However, I just noticed this same studio has something called Solar Punk. Like there's a solar panels or whatever. There is Sloth Simulator. And I was gonna say there was some other games, Hourglass, and some other things, but it feels like they were working on something, and then it ended up being like the big success is a game about digging a hole. Or
I think it's a big success, right? It's only 7,000 concurrent players on Steam, but I find it sometimes, you can only always talk about the AAA. So sometimes when there is something fun, it's very short. There is a lot of potential. I'm not sure they want to do that, because actually it's just a side project of one of the programmer of another bigger game. And he got the idea, and then they coded that in a few weeks, and then it's been released. So there is no franchise strategy or anything.
Yeah, once it starts making money, hey, give us more whole content.
Yeah, I want to dig in an asteroid. I want to dig at the bottom of the ocean. I don't know. I want to do so many things right now. I want to be able to dig and then discover secret cities, or I don't know. There is something there.
Yeah, and I'm interested by the title, because these sort of they're sort of meta titles. They can get annoying, but they can be very effective when they work. Yeah. I feel like the one of the best all-time ones is definitely Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
I remember so distinctly reading an article at the time. Someone was like, "Do we think this would have been more successful if it had a title?" I'm like, "It does have a title. The title is Untitled Goose Game." But I feel like that even the simulator games, right? When those first started out, like I guess Goat Simulator, Surgeon Simulator, those have a bit of a tongue-in-cheek naming quality to them as well, like a minor version of these things.
Absolutely.
But so, Manu, are you following that game or playing it, or?
I finished it, so it's like a cozy game actually, because it's very quick to upgrade to the maximum level of your drill and your battery and stuff like that. And there is an end game actually, so there is like a final boss, but a playthrough is maybe 2 to 3 hours, and I think there is some replayability, but not that much. You can just, the garden is such a size, the depth is just fixed also, so there is not, I don't believe there is any kind of randomly generated stuff. I think it's just the same thing. What is random is probably the materials, but not the size of all the treasure or anything. It's just a fun activity, right? Like people like to wash stuff and things like that. You're just drilling, and then you feel powerful when you get a bigger drill. It goes faster. And I don't know. I hope they will see the success and consider expanding the universe somehow. Yeah.
What about the price point, $4.99? Do you think that contributed to the success in any shape or form?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a 2 hour game, right? So 2 to 3 hour, I think, for one playthrough with limited replayability. So I think yes, and I think a game like Vampire Survivor was also $5. Right?
$2.99, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, even less.
Yeah, I did that on mobile, which I think it blew up on Steam before the mobile port. I think it was definitely above 99 cents on mobile. I think it was like 2.99.
No,
I think
so Vampire Survivor is at €5 right now. It's
Right.
on Steam or mobile.
Steam,
Let's see what it is on the App Store.
but they are selling a lot of DLC. So Casey
Yeah.
will say that it's a live service game.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I actually discovered it on Game Pass, so.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, it's free. It's free on. I don't know what you get for the free price on the App Store, but there is a free.
Good.
No, full game free. So I think they're just really banking on the expansions. I bought all the expansions.
Yeah.
I remember it was with that game. I had a flight from Seattle to Amsterdam. I got my Switch all loaded up with lots of engaging games that I've been meaning to try out, and then I played Vampire Survivors for 10 hours straight.
Yep. And I think I mentioned this before. For me, spending 40 hours in that game and versus the 1 hour I had with Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
like the amount of value I got of Vampire Survivors is infinitely
Yeah, absolutely.
bigger.
What it tells you, gameplay matters.
Gameplay is king.
above everything.
Hell
Just
yeah.
fix your
Yeah.
gameplay, have your gameplay, and then everything will come. And then
Yeah.
you have a shot, right? If you don't have a great gameplay, you better have a good marketing budget. Otherwise, nothing will happen.
Yeah, I feel like or novelty. You can get away with like novelty and gameplay sort of bleed into each other. But if something is surprising and something's interesting, maybe a game about digging a hole fits this. Then it can still succeed even if it's implemented kind of weirdly or not very successfully.
Yeah.
Power Roll, I feel like it shows us some of that.
Dave, I want to ask you: have you been playing anything the past week or so?
Honestly, I'm still NDA. I'm trying to think if I played anything that is not under NDA recently. No, my playtime has been a black box of secrecy
Limited.
for the past week.
I'll tell you what I'm excited about playing.
Let's hear it.
Elden Ring.
But what do you know?
I mean, they announced the release date, which is was it end of May or?
Yes.
Let me bring that up quickly.
Yeah.
But we're hyped here at home, and I got my kids to be hyped because now we can all play at the same time, together.
And it's cool and focused. Yeah, I think it's interesting that so From did Sekiro and they did Bloodborne, but nothing got a sequel until now. This is their essentially their second franchise now after Souls.
But Casey, you have to buy the game 3 times, right?
I have to buy the game 3 times, and I'm very glad to do so.
No, but which means it's good. It's good for them, right? Because if you have only one game, you can have different player playing the game simultaneously with different save games. But here it's $40, but the reality is that in some household it's going to be 80 or 120.
Yeah. I will say, because Elden Ring is so fresh in my memory, and they did release the DLC last year, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the excitement, yes, there is excitement. I wouldn't say it's off the roof. Okay, it's mid-level to high. I'm probably most excited about playing with my kids, but I'm trying to understand from your viewpoint. Do you believe this game will have the same success that they found with the original Elden Ring? Because I feel like that might not be necessarily true. What's your thoughts?
I don't think they will get any player outside of the Elden Ring players for this title. I think the number of co-op players that will buy this game and have not bought any Elden Ring experience before is probably very limited. I'm not sure I want to play that much if this is the same world and if there is no new areas and it's just like playing together the game. So I'm curious about it, but I'm more of a lone wolf, so I don't really enjoy that much co-op play. But yeah, I think even among the Elden Ring players, there is a big share of players that will be happy to play in co-op, like you, Casey, for example. So for me, I see that as another DLC where the attach rate will probably be high, the same way that R3 had a high attach rate. And that's good when you've sold 25 million units of your base game, right?
It's the continuation of the live service.
Yeah, there you go. And I think it's interesting, because there's so much sort of cultural baggage around From games that in the past, co-op has often been seen as kind of like inauthentic for the hardcore people. And so now that they're getting this whole thing, which is, obviously co-op has always been blessed by From. Of course, it's like a core part of the game. But, even so, they get good people say it's cheating or whatever. So I'm very curious to see how this lands with that community now that like it is considered, it's being billed as the primary way of interacting with it.
I will add, Dave, because I'm not necessarily embedded in the community, but I'm embedded in the culture of that type of game, which is the culture of that game is also about helping each other and sharing resources sometimes.
Yeah, certainly. And that's been back to Dark Souls. Yeah,
exactly. Thank you. And if you remember, even if you go back even further to Demon Souls, where the difficulty level was all the way to 11, where they required you to hunt these lizards that would disappear in an instant. Getting the final weapons or the all the things that you want required a lot of sacrifice. Basically, the best way was to meet somebody in game and they just hand you the weapon. You get the achievement and then you hand it back to them. That was the way of getting the platinum trophy back in the day.
I feel like Miyazaki would support that. I feel like that.
Absolutely. Okay, gentlemen. By the way, Manu, I just saw that you did update the highlight. We'll do some business then. We'll jump into the business.
Yes.
And we'll start with the highlights, of course. The number one item on the list: Squad Busters disappoints, but Brawl Stars soars in the record year for Supercell. In for the forever game. What can we learn about this, gentlemen?
So many things. Various points. One point is just the season of earning reports. So you will see in the numbers part that there are a lot of earnings. Many of them are negative, actually, year on year. Many publishers are negative year on year. That's one thing. The second thing is that, yes, Squad Buster was kind of the new game they launched a few months ago. It disappoints. It's not doing that well, but the total number are very good for Supercell still. So it means that they are not dependent on the failure of one of their key titles, right? The one they're really pushed right now. On top of that, Brawl Stars as a record year also is back somehow. And I hear so often people saying that, all these old live services, some of them are going down and then they are not going to come back up anymore. Well, if you go down, you will see there is also news about PUBG and Krafton. What happened? PUBG had its record year this year after in the newsletter, right? PUBG has done very well also. So, and Fortnite has done very well in 2023 and not 2024. So all these games are not dying, right? They are only dying if the publishers are not able to find a formula to keep player involved in the game. So I think it's just show that they are not going anywhere, right? If you are a newcomer and you just hope that there will be a natural decay, life cycle decay of these long-term live service games, well, you might be up for a challenge because they are not going to die very, very easily, and even less if they have like massive publishers behind them to revive them somehow. I think this is really, I like it. And then for the Forever Games, actually a post from Supercell themselves, they kind of basically saying, well, we're not abandoning that game, right? That game is going to be there forever. All these games will be forever as long as there is money to be made. And in parallel to that, it's not in the news, but oh yes, is it Overwatch announced They are bringing back 6v6. But they are bringing back loot boxes.
Oh,
Are they doing so in Belgium and Netherlands? I wonder.
I don't know, but I think they are trying everything they can to
to become Overwatch. But again,
yeah.
yeah.
It's Overwatch
I mean,
1 again.
well,
Right?
it's what you've been saying about the recursive nostalgia idea.
Exactly.
That everyone wants what they already like. I think, I mean, everything you say is definitely true. I think the one thing I'd add, which is interesting about Squad Busters, is, it's a little bit more PvE focused, a little more co-op, a little more stuff to do on your own, and nothing hits like PvP. Like PvP is tough, obviously, as we've seen, because people are entrenched, but when you get it, the ceiling on that is so much higher. All the games that we're talking about right now are PvP.
can you remind us, please? So back in the day, when you used to open a loot box in Overwatch, what do you get?
Surprise! You could get a skin. You could get some points, some coins. I believe a bit like Apex. Apex basically was kind of criticized for a while because they kept the loot boxes, but actually maybe people will come back to loot boxes.
Yeah, I mean,
it might become more politically correct again, also in general in society, at least in some countries on the other side of the ocean.
yeah, I mean, I think kids don't care, which of course is part of the problem, right? Because it is gambling. It certainly makes you feel the same way, but like, yeah. Exactly. Like,
let's be honest. My kids, when they play GTA, they love to play at the casino, right? Because there is still this element of I don't have money to buy a new car, but there is a chance I can make a lot of money by playing these kind of RNG games. And I think it's the same here. Whether you like it or not, it's part of the human nature. Let's be honest, that's why any kind of lottery is still very popular. And for some reason, people have decided that was not good in video games. I think mostly to protect the younger audience. So there might be something there, but other than that, it's just it's part of the human nature to just hope.
Yeah,
somehow.
I feel like the best example of that is I remember being surprised when this first happened, like 15 years ago or whatever, when people started making slot machine games for app stores with no money associated with them, and it really indicates how much we just like to feel that we have gotten the valuable thing, even if it is valuable only in that instance of feeling valuable.
One of the best executions of slots is Vampire Survivors.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Great.
I mean, I'm super excited to see what's up. I mean, what I get. I will add. I do think loot boxes are good to a certain extent. I think the most important thing is that the companies need to be transparent. And I know they passed legislation. I know China's really good with that. Maybe even Korea, in terms of like detailing the chance to get XYZ. Is that something that is happening as well here in the West in any shape or form?
I think Europe mandated it, but also because of China's laws, you see it. Certainly, all the games that I play with loot box or loot box like elements listed.
Not to put you on the spot, Dave, are there any games like recently that you saw this in that come to your mind?
I know Genshin does. I didn't see that recently. I think this Warcraft Rumble game that I've been playing, I think that has it in there, and that's even like a little less loot boxy overall. Those are the ones that come to mind. Probably others.
Thank you. Okay, gentlemen, should I move on to the next highlight? Is there anything else you want to say about Supercell or Brawl Stars to go back to the original topic?
Yep. No, we're good.
Yep, keep coming.
Okay. I'm going to skip the second item, move on to the third one, and then I'll go back to the second one. So the third one is the biggest announcements from PlayStation's February 2025 State of Play, which I completely missed. So anything I see now is going to be news to me.
We can't talk about all of it.
It was way more impressive than expected, right? I don't think people were expecting a lot, and it was announced last minute. But actually, there are a few good trailers in there. Borderlands 4 launch date has been announced. You have another trailer of Split Fiction, and then you have, I think, what is interesting. Let me go back to there.
So I'll read here from the top as well.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Lies of P expansion pack, Days Gone remaster, Tides of Annihilation, which looks interesting. It's done by a Chinese studio. Hey, once again, right? Looks super polished. These are the collabs.
I'm excited for Day of the Diver. Definitely.
This is certainly a trend now, right? Like
Collab.
Oh yeah. Collabs are all over. I mean, I think it took the gaming industry like longer than a lot of other cultural areas to come along to it, but we're there now.
And the thing is and there is another neat piece of news about Steam basically banning any games where revenue is coming from advertisement. I think there is this thing where collaboration are advertisement in disguise, right? And players are fine with that, actually. They're fine to buy Nike sneakers in Fortnite. They don't consider that as intrusive advertisement.
People in general, some people like to make a big like a lot of Sturm and Drang over ads, but people don't. Ads are fine. Whatever. It's like that is like the most traditional way of monetizing media throughout all of history, and like whatever. We're not somehow living in an ad-free world. So I think generally it's fine.
As long as we're not getting these medical US based.
Yeah, those are bad. But that's a different problem.
I think as long as the products are kind of culturally relevant to the audience, it's also fine, right? It's not like a commercial talking about some product to clean your kitchen or something like that. You know, it's really related to the audience. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid is just announced. If you go down, Life of P is a DLC.
Oh, I mean, I just want to stop this right now and just like, shut down the episode and just like, watch this trailer. But yeah, you were saying Lies of P.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what they do with like, especially because I think one of the things that they struggled with the most was like level art design. The characters were great, but the level art design was not great. And I think that with that criticism in the back of their head and with just a little more money and room to play, I think they'll be able to do some cool stuff.
I think it's cool to see a game like it's a AA game, right? Let's be honest. It's kind of doing well enough that they are able to produce a DLC. So yeah, it's cool. Another Souls game.
It was good. It was a cool. I didn't finish it. I got annoyed at one point and stopped. But I thought it had some really great stuff.
And then when I see the image, I'm waiting for the movie with Timothée Chalamet, right? Because it's basically him, the character. It's very easy to cast the main character.
Yeah.
It seems like on this one specifically, they've kind of forged their own identity and they're more playful. They're not like, super serious like From Software.
And the pitch, the initial pitch is interesting,
super
right?
serious. From Software is silly. The Onion Knight, patches, all that stuff. Yeah,
but I guess like what I'm trying to say is like the overall lore and everything else is like very serious.
Yeah.
But yes,
sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Manu. Sorry.
By the way, sorry, Manu, if I'm interrupting again. By the way, this one this is another one, but I'm assuming Days Gone.
That became a cult favorite.
I mean, I know it's a good game, but I think I just feel like okay, we're just like, hey, let's recoup our money because we haven't done so yet.
Bend is
it's
closed.
only $10 to upgrade for if you already own the PS4. Same on PC, so it's fine. It just I don't think there is too much to read into that. I think the game is better. The game suffered from a poor technical polishing at launch, and it didn't help its Metacritic score, its reviews. But ultimately, I think it's an interesting open world zombie game. If you haven't played it, I think it's worth giving it a try.
It does look very good, by the way. What is this thing? This is interesting. Stellar Blade, Ex-Goddess of Victory. Is this a DLC or is this another collab?
Crossover.
Crossover. What are we talking? Like, are we talking about like a character showing up, or?
I don't know. I don't follow this type of games.
Yeah, at first I thought it was Infinity Nikki, but it's Nikkei.
Completely different.
Yeah.
It does feel like a DLC.
Yeah, I don't know if there is story content, but there is certainly cosmetics and maybe some gameplay apparently. But I don't know. I know Stellar Blade had its success, but it's not the type of game I'm very close to, so I cannot really comment.
Fair enough. What is this? Tides of
Try it.
Annihilation.
Try it.
This one, Tides of
Yes.
All
Annihilation.
right, let's
Yes.
see.
What is
Oh, and
this?
she voiced by Shadowheart. Everyone likes Shadowheart.
Is this out already, or it's an upcoming game?
No, it's just announced.
It looks pretty cool. It's like
Looks like Lies of P to be. Looks like a
Yeah.
Lies of P with a little more fantasy going on.
But now I'm getting some. What's the
Final
Capcom
Fantasy.
game?
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
I was gonna say the Capcom game with the guns. The guy.
Bayonetta? Ah, no. Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry. Yeah,
No Devil May Cry here.
yeah. Certainly the big celestial spire thing is that's kind of Devil May Cry vibe.
Seems like everybody's inspired by From Software these days. Like the scale of things, but maybe it's goes back to Final Fantasy.
I like
It's
that
more
big
Final Fantasy impressive than From Software, I would say at this point. But
Got,
yeah,
got
there is
some
an
Uncharted,
you see,
little
there is
Uncharted in there.
Oh, look at that! There's a lot of Shadow Colossus in there as well.
Yeah, and God of War.
God of War. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Okay.
it looks interesting. Oh yeah, wait, look at the combat a little bit.
Yeah, that now I'm getting those Devil May Cry vibes.
Yes. No, that was actually Final Fantasy. If I just go back a step, this stuff like the modern Final Fantasy, so to say.
Did not Wukong?
It doesn't. I'm not getting Wukong from that. No.
Okay.
It's a little more flashy. A little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little. I mean, Wukong is not really a Souls game, but it is like it has more of that DNA than this. I mean, again, we're not playing this, but that would be my guess.
I mean, I'm a bit confused. It feels like it's action and not necessarily turn-based.
Absolutely. Who
Yeah.
said it was turn-based?
Because I got that feeling in one part where it looked like Final Fantasy.
No, someone goes up in the air, throws a bunch of semi-homing missiles down. I hate that one. People do that all the time.
And this was Ronan, not Ronan, the guy in Elden Ring with the horse.
Yep.
Was the same.
Yeah.
Godfrey?
Yeah.
No. Godfrey had the lion on his back, and he took the lion off because the lion was limiting him. Star, like the star.
Okay.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, it looks slick, right?
Yeah.
The production level seems very high at
does.
this point.
Who's behind this? Tides of Annihilation. It impressed Manu, so you need to pay attention.
It's a Chinese studio.
Oh, really?
All right, another Chinese AAA.
Oh.
What do you know?
Hello.
I mean, Speak of the East. Yeah, we spoke about that.
Yes.
Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
Probably not to be one of those people, but I think it's gonna bomb. But
How? Why?
I don't know, just one of those feelings like when you look at a project for the first time, you just like make a quick assessment.
You know who is behind that one, right?
I know exactly who's behind it.
Oh, okay.
But I would love to hear your thoughts about it.
I think it's interesting because it's published by IOI partners. So IOI is IO Interactive, the developers of Hitman. So I wonder if there is something in there where like some developers at some point they become comfortable to start publishing the games of other people. We've seen that with Pocket Pair and Paul World, right? They are also publishing other games. So I wonder if you will not see some kind of fragmentation of the publishing world somehow. There will be more smaller publishers.
I think definitely.
And that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, just looking at this, I just feel so uninspired. Like compared to what we just saw.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
But
These
I
are
think
people who've been making games for 30 years plus. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was also interrupting you, but I think to Manu's point, I also feel like okay, this looks like a video game. There's guns and stuff, but I trust IOI, right? And so now I'm more interested just solely based on that it has IOI's stamp of approval and involvement, and I think that's really.
But are you
Pacific Force.
Are you conflicting IOI, the developer, versus the publisher?
Yeah, they are not developing
yeah.
that game at all, right? There is nothing. They're
Yeah.
just doing publishing. Yes. Then they decide to pick up that game, right? But it's not like the. I think it's a brand new studio by the one of the founder of Rockstar, basically, right? That
Oh, yeah,
worked
yeah.
on GTA.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is that
Yeah.
IOA has a brand as a developer, and I'm willing to give it a shot and follow that brand into publishing,
Yeah.
basically.
Fair enough.
Because obviously they're not making it, but they said, we like this game. This is an IOI game.
Yeah. I would say when you look at the trailer, it starts like it's more like Detroit, and then it switched to like GTA with a car race that doesn't look like as polished as a GTA one. And there is a disconnect between the different part of the trailer for me. That's why it's difficult to really get an understanding of what will be the tone and the story. It's probably slightly in the future, but not that much. So yeah, challenging.
I do want to add one thing about this specific game, Mind's Eye. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to launch as part of the Everywhere project. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a metaverse-ish type thing, which also gets a lot of, at least from a looks perspective, it reminds me a lot of Fortnite. There's a bunch of that stuff you can check out on your own time later. But if I understand correctly, the idea is that Mind's Eye is launching inside of Everywhere, because Everywhere is supposed to be this metaverse where you can play any game. So that's a thing to keep an eye out on, in my opinion. We have this thing, Saros.
Yes, click. Very important.
Housemark.
I like how you're hyping us up, Manu.
Yeah,
Yes, it is. You should be. This is by the studio that did Returnal.
Yeah. Returnal was good. It was too hard.
Oh, that's oh, good lord.
Housemark.
In Finland.
Yeah. Yeah, I met a nice Housemark guy recently.
Resogun. You remember Resogun?
Mm-hmm. And they made that great Asteroids game.
Hell yeah.
There was a Vita launch title.
Twin stick shooter, PS3.
Yeah, well, it was a PS3 launch title, and then into a Vita launch title as well.
So what we're looking at right now reminds
Is that
me
Rahul Kohli? Or?
I'm getting Returnal vibes here.
But I think it's a roguelite shooter again. Yes.
So there you go.
I will give some note here, by the way, on this studio. They lost 3 of the top people at the studio last year, who are forming another studio, of course, in Finland. So that's a thing to keep an eye out on with this project. Hopefully, no impact.
Yeah, I would definitely play a Returnal that just had its difficulty a little more under control.
This looks really good.
Yeah.
Some Death Stranding vibes as well.
I mean, that's Souls right there.
Some Souls vibes. Everybody wants to do From Software stuff nowadays. Yeah. Look at that bullet. The bullet.
That's Returnal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the main character. Yeah, you want to understand what's happening. I think they do a very good job. This character is very compelling. You want. I don't know. I feel hooked. Personally.
That's the guy, the Sir Gawain of the Green Knight, Rahul, right? It's not him. No,
Sorry?
No, not him. Rahul something. Rahul Kohli.
I mean, based on what we saw, I feel like if they can keep that DNA, and own that type of gameplay, then they have a very bright future in front of them. By the way, I just noticed the suit has the yellow and black, like Helldivers almost. So that's a bit funny. Okay,
same colors.
Yep.
Was there
anything? You have, I think, another trailer of Monster Hunter. Why?
There's some Onimusha. I was interested in some Onimusha stuff going on.
I'll get to that one. I just wanted to point out Monster Hunter. I was completely oblivious to this game coming out soon, but a lot of people that I know are talking about it.
Monster Hunter people love Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And I hear they fixed their squatting system. Which was a huge issue back in World like 10 years, 15 years ago.
And Monster Hunter World was like 20 plus million units. and
Yep.
the DLC had a very high attach rate also, so performed very well. Then there was Monster Hunter Rise, and now there is this one, and I think this is the kind of game that you will have. If the game is good, you will have first the vets, the fans playing it, and then there could be a snowball effect with like non-Monster Hunter people.
That
You
definitely
see that,
happened with
oh,
World.
so many people are
Yeah.
playing it. That must be good, even if I don't play that type of game usually. And I think, that's interesting.
By the way, this is also May, right? So we have. Oh
Yeah.
no! Monster Hunter is February 28th, which is like
2
soon.
weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. And then we had Elden Ring was end of May 30th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Is this 2D or 3D?
2D.
3D.
2D.
Oh, 3D. Okay.
How many times do I have to say 2D?
I don't know. You said 3D, 2D.
Mm-hmm. That's only, there's 1D and then there's another and then that's it.
Okay, so 2D. I remember playing this game on Sega back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
You remember there is a movie coming, right?
Oh, yeah.
How could we forget?
That movie that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
Wait for it. You never know.
I mean, like, you can make a ninja movie, call it Shinobi, maybe it's good, I don't know. Like,
You remember American Ninja back in the day? That movie?
I don't think so. I think I do.
I mean, you know ninjas originated in the US, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. There we go.
Michael Dudikoff, yes.
The good old days.
I would be curious. I wonder what the origins of the like concept of that ninja thing is, because I from what I understand, like ninjutsu, like is like a verb more than it is. It's not a person, right? It's something that you do. It's like a samurai might be doing some ninjutsu.
Remember this game? Why did they never do anything with Double Dragon?
They made a movie, I think.
They
Yeah,
did.
it's a movie.
There was a
Yeah.
cartoon as well with like 4 dragons, I believe, or something like that. But it feels
True.
like they didn't do anything with the brand after like 4.
Yeah. Same with Battletoads, except for recently we got the Battletoads, but dormant
Yeah.
for a very long
Yep.
time.
So some other games, just to name them because I missed them before: Sonic Racing, Cross Worlds. Is that like a Mario Kart-ish thing?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like maybe Sonic should just be part of Mario Kart and call it a day, but okay. And then we have Digimon Storytime Stranger. Is this an RPG or?
Which one, sorry?
Digimon Storytime
I don't know.
Stranger.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it felt like
It's a fancy one.
story-driven type of game.
I'm sorry if I'm scrolling too fast here. But okay. Oh, there you go. There was some or no gameplay. Or bits and pieces of gameplay. We don't know what that is. And then let me see if there's Lost Soul Aside. Is this another looks like a Final Fantasy thing?
Action, no, it's action, so I think it's more Devil May Cry maybe type of game.
But you were not that excited about this thing.
No.
No.
I mean, we all have different tastes, right? And I'm not that much into that type of game, so for me, it's just like another new game. There's not that much there for me
This looks very slow.
to get excited, and just graphics in general, they don't seem incredible.
Looks okay.
Yeah, looks like I've seen it before.
Yeah. That's a cool mechanic. You
It's
can
very
like
empty. I think the texture and things like that, they're just big
feel like
empty worlds for me.
yes.
Yeah.
A bit of an Unreal feeling as well. That thing. We already spoke about Dave the Diver, and then there's a WWE game as well. Okay, Borderlands 4 we already talked about as well. Okay, gentlemen, shall we move over to the news?
I think so.
No, there was one final highlight.
There was.
The
And that you
PlayStation
said you were
outage.
gonna.
Yes, that's the one I flipped around. The PlayStation outage was a reminder of how few games I actually own. I love this because I know exactly what this is talking about. But tell us, what should we learn here?
I think this was an interesting one to introduce the outage that happened last week. So I think it was 18 or 19 hours. There was not clear communication from Sony. I have not
Yeah, that was a
followed
weird
if they
thing.
actually
Yeah.
said what was the problem ultimately. So it were very mute for a long time, and on a Saturday, and it was the weekend of the Monster Hunter beta, and I think they're gonna give 5 days of free PS Plus subscription. One thing I was wondering, if as a publisher, if Sony imposes you to use the PlayStation Network and then is not able to deliver this connectivity, I wonder if you, as a publisher, you can also ask, okay, give me back 1 day of microtransaction revenue. I mean, I
But
don't know how this happened, how much of these outages are acceptable for the publishers, but yeah, it shows that, and I think also most of your single player games have to connect to the PlayStation Network servers just to validate the keys. But there is a way to save that offline on your hard drive on the PlayStation. But if the PlayStation is not defined as your main console, and if you've not kind of secured this right locally, then you couldn't start any game,
Yeah.
even any offline game neither. So that's kind of yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I remember when that was just starting, with the Xbox One, and there was the whole controversy around that, and then we kind of just wound up there by accident.
Oh yeah, that was the what's his name? Matrix.
Yeah,
days?
Don Matrick.
Don Matrix.
Yeah, his glorious hubris.
A huge shout out to what's it? Angry Joe? Is that his name? Like during
Yeah.
that era, he really put it to them and asked them like blatantly, and they're like, no, 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 no. And then like a week later, they turned the button off, and then you can
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like when Fortnite accidentally enabled crossplay.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Okay, friends, I'll move over to the news then. PUBG Studios. Project Arc is now called PUBG Blindspot, and the top-down 5v5 tactical shooter will be playable this month thanks to a Steam demo. I was completely unaware of this project. So, top-down 5v5.
Yeah, there's
Sure.
a trailer. It's interesting.
Sorry about that.
I don't really have an opinion. The only opinion I have is that PUBG, another battle royale that's trying a 5v5 game mode in the same way as Fortnite is the ballistic mode, which is closer to CSGO and Valorant. But it's kind of funny because yesterday I bought a game called, I will tell you that quickly.
While we do that, I mean, this looks
Breaking Doors or something like this. Wait.
Go for it.
What was it?
Well, what do you think the strategy is? Like, why make this game? And why attach it to PUBG? I mean, obviously PUBG, big brand.
I mean, I think why not attach it to PUBG basically?
Yes, exactly.
But I do think they've done a good job moving it to the isometric camera, because that's always, I think, a struggle that these sort of companies founded off a single game have, is that they're not always sufficiently differentiated. They're either too far away, which happened with Crafton already, like with their Dead Space thing, or they're too close. And this, I feel like, it accesses the PUBG brand without impinging on it in a successful way. I think that works for me.
So just go to the link I just posted, if you can, in the chat.
We will go to your link.
Door Kickers 2.
Door Kickers 2. That sounds like another simulator you should be playing.
So you see how similar it is? Top-down view, but it's a single-player game, right? And you organize your team, your movement. You can have it.
Well, it's top down, not isometric, which is
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
Because the other one was isometric.
But there is a similarity in there, right? It's kind of an infiltration game. It's the follow-up of a sequel of a game from 2012, I believe, or 2013, and it seems to have like positive reviews. I've played it a little bit. It's a mix between Commando and Rainbow Six Vegas. Yes, it's Rainbow Six Vegas in 2D, somehow in top down. Yes.
It's funny how Rainbow Six used to be associated with this type of gameplay, and now,
Wow,
Yeah.
Siege is like that, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say. And then Siege is Rainbow Six, right now.
Right
But
now,
but Vegas was more of a single player type of game where you would spend a lot of time to preparing your mission, while the Siege is more multiplayer like live game. But this is
That-
still about small teams in houses, yeah, in location. So yeah, and the other piece of news for PUBG I discussed before is that PUBG, the game, the battle royale game, is one of its best year last year.
yeah.
we did speak about this a bit when we always go through the Steam DB top 10, top 20 list, and PUBG has constantly, or rather, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a C. Continuously, constantly,
Yeah.
no,
Either one would work. Yeah.
consistently
Consistently. Sure.
been on the top 3 for the past year.
Yeah, and if you look at PUBG, the curve, also the chart for the past 3 years, you can see that it bottomed up in July 2023, and since then it has basically doubled its concurrent players on Steam,
Yeah.
right? So we're not even talking of the game being successful in India or anything like that. Just take the
Yeah,
three last year.
straight up
Three
Steam.
last year.
And I think most of their money is mobile at this point.
Yeah, so
But these numbers are reflecting PC only, right?
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not just a mobile story, right? It's just an HD game that they've done something there that making them bigger. Like back, they are not back to their record numbers, but again, everybody feels at some point that some of these games are dying. It kind of went down, but then no. Well, if you stick to it, if you come with good ideas, if you find a way to get your audience back, then you can turn around. And I don't know if we discussed about that last week, because the CEO of EA talked a little bit about Apex, and we've been talking about Apex Legends for some times now, that the active user base is kind of going down significantly. Maybe there is also still hope for Apex somehow, right? Whether it would be Apex 2 or it would be Apex something new happening in there. So I think never, as long as a game is online, you shouldn't consider as being dead. That's just
Yeah, as long as you have enough people that you can jump into a match,
yeah.
which
that
is
is
not
fair.
that many at the end of the day.
Okay.
Which again makes it even more complicated for the new entrant, right? Like you cannot even hope that the old ones will die at some point. They might just come back again and again.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, I'll move over to the next item, which brings joy to my heart. We did touch upon it a bit, but not in detail in terms of because I didn't get this part, which is Valve is banning all Steam games that require watching ads. So I assume that this is the mobile version where you have to spend 30 seconds or a minute or whatever watching something.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
and the word require is an interesting addition there.
Yeah. Because sometimes I think in mobile you can just skip the ads if you pay, or you can just watch the ads so that you get in-game currency. So, but yeah, anyway, I think, and again, I looked at history. I think last earning calls of EA, they discussed again about advertisement in games. And I've seen some discussion about that in 2022 and then in 2020 when they did something with UFC. So it's a Loch Ness monster, right? Advertisement in video games. And I think the smartest way, as we discussed earlier, is collaboration, right? Just don't shove an advertisement in the face of player. Just make them your allies.
Well, I mean, in gaming, that's the quickest way to have players churn. So
Yeah, exactly.
please do.
Yeah.
So please do so they can play better games.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the list, my friends. After multiple delays, Football Manager 25, and football, that's the soccer for the non-Europeans. Football Manager 25 has now been canceled. I'm confused. Why did this happen?
Oh,
I think the problem with a yearly title is that if you push it back too much, it's too late, right? I mean, you're not going to release a football game where the season is already halfway or it's already moved forward. So I think they got stuck at some point. I don't remember exactly what was the reason why it was delayed in the first place. Maybe they just wanted to do like a engine update or something more significant than what they usually do with sports title is a refresh of the roster. So I think maybe this time they needed more than 1 year. And I was looking. So the other sports title are still doing fine. An interesting one, which is not a sports title but is Farming Simulator. Now, Farming Simulator 25 is on PC. I think there was no 24 and 23. No, 24 is on Switch, 23 is on mobile, and 22 is on PC. So there's one every year, but in a different platform. So they maybe also, they realize that if you don't have enough studios working on your yearly title, you just can't produce. You can't innovate anymore unless you take a step back.
Yeah, which is what like Call of Duty did now, having 3 studios cycling in.
Yeah.
And I feel like honestly, we might still be seeing the aftershocks of COVID, because the thing is, like as you say, with the yearly title, there are no margins. So you have to pay the bill eventually, even if you manage to get through.
So I have to ask this question because my viewpoint on the yearly title, and specifically if it's the EA titles such as FIFA or FC, in my opinion, these are basically a subscription. The only difference is that it's like, it's not automatically charged on your credit card.
Which is a big difference. They need to get you to do it actively every year.
And this is exactly the question I want to ask. Why have they not moved on to that type of model? So the EAFC, as an example, just automatic, like, give them maybe, I don't know, $10 or $5 cut on the game, and just say, hey, give us your credit card, and then you're set for life. Tell us.
I think it's going too well the way it is. Any move like that is an opportunity to fail, basically. And so you're not going to see any major company, especially any major publicly held company, making a change on that level unless they've developed a bad problem.
And there are some driving the players to buy the next one by doing like in-game promotion with the previous one, right? So when the pre-orders gets opened for the next sports title, you can probably buy directly in-game from the previous one at a discounted price. So they're kind of already having that dynamic. I think maybe is a $80 yearly subscription something that makes sense? Would anybody subscribe for a year in the middle of the year for a sport game? Probably not. Neither. It's very linked to the rhythm. So I don't know. I mean, I know that yes. Why do it?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take us to the next news item, my friends. GTA 6 release update makes Take-Two stock hit record high. So let me just start by asking, first of all, we still believe GTA 6 will release this year?
Yeah, I mean, they just reaffirmed.
That's the point. We are
not this year.
Anything. We're just listening to what Take-Two is saying, and Take-Two is saying fall release, confirmed.
Yeah.
This moment in time.
Yeah, and it's... I do think it's funny that like all they did was say that they had not changed the release date. It's like we already told you.
The delay was priced in, and the delay doesn't seem to be happening. So there is an upside.
Yes.
I recently had a private conversation with an exec, a former exec from one of these big companies, and we both agreed that GTA 6 should be $100 minimum on launch day.
Okay.
Do you think we will see that?
No.
We'll see a collector's edition. We could see we could see a collector's edition go to 300, whatever. But
no.
Base game we won't.
No.
Okay.
I think one of the reasons for that is marketing, because you don't want to talk about pricing when you launch such a big game.
But you're launching the biggest, hottest.
Exactly. You want to talk about the game. You don't want to talk about prices.
And you already have access to the widest player base of any AAA game. And like, why fuck with that?
I just feel like it's a missed opportunity.
I just feel like a third. You might get a third as many sales for twice as much money, and then you're losing money. And then not only and then microtransactions. You know,
And
later.
then why 100? Why not 200?
Yeah.
I mean, above 100. So the reason I'm bringing this up specifically is obviously we know we have troubles with matching quality, and like we talk always about AAA and all that stuff and the budgets, and it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, inflation over the past 30 years is a reality, but game prices have just gone down over time.
Yeah.
So that's like why I'm bringing that up. Okay, I'll move over to
Again, you have to compare that with other piece of entertainment. What book do you pay $100? What movie do you pay $100? Which DVD? So yes, you can say that per hour played, it's probably worth a bit more, depending on the game again. But it's like a 10-hour single-player game should not be 100. But the thing is, most of the console games have the standard premium pricing right now. So
that's why I'm saying that there's a lack of logic, because you have.
Well, here's what happened. I think is that for the longest time, video game revenue grew because you got new gamers, and we were picking up new people that were buying games all the time, and that's pretty much that year is done. There's just not that many new people to grab onto AAA games, and so that phenomenon kept any price increases at bay because they were making so much more money that like there was no reason to change that. And then if you look, because it's not true that it hasn't gone up, it's gone up by $10, and that happened at basically the exact moment that we were no longer significantly growing the gamer population at a rate faster than the rate of population growth. That's when the gaming industry had to start behaving more like a regular industry.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, I'll move over to the trends, and we have this item that I'm really happy about, but I'd love to hear your take, which is PlayStation quietly removes slop shovelware PS5 games following investigation. So last time we spoke about these AI crap, random, games that are trying to trick you, and now we are finally seeing somebody clean up their store, which is a good thing because it allows more room for legit game developers and companies that are trying to create good games. But what can we learn about this?
Your move, Nintendo.
Yeah, definitely. Well, your move, Nintendo, and then eventually your move, Apple. Not that they'll ever take that move, but that's I feel like there are questions that are going to need to be answered about how these storefronts are operated, and they're beginning to deal with it, maybe.
Okay. Next item on the trends. I don't know how to spell this. Avowed breaks down barriers with cross-buy. So what is this?
So if you buy the game on PC or on an Xbox, you can play it on the other platform.
So this is a Blizzard game. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a Microsoft game, right?
Okay. Well, yes.
Wait, Avowed is under Activision Blizzard? I thought it was Obsidian.
It's not. So, okay,
Yeah.
I start it again. You can play it on Battle.net or on Xbox. But it's not a Blizzard game. It's a game from a very famous RPG studio, which is
Obsidian, right?
helping me here.
Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian, right? Which is absolutely not related to Activision and Blizzard. So it's part
but it's going on Battle.net. So that's interesting to me. That I felt like they were going to be sunsetting Battle.net.
No, I think they're going to sunset the Windows Store or the gaming part of the Windows Store potentially.
Yeah, because there's the Windows Store and that's connected to the Xbox PC app, but not the same thing.
Yeah. Well, wait a second, just so I'm also understanding. I mean, there is a Windows Store. There is the Xbox game app.
Yeah, game app. Yes.
On PC, and then there's the Blizzard
Battle.net.
Battle.net. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which is not Blizzard. It's also Activision because Call of Duty is there.
Yeah,
absolutely. And at one point in time, Destiny as well. But that was another story.
Yeah.
But what are we saying? Are they going to merge them in any shape or form, or what are we saying?
I think they should get rid of whatever Xbox store they have right now and just use Battle.net and maybe rebrand it. Yes.
I think so. I mean, I use the Xbox store solely as a Game Pass redemption device. Yeah. That's it.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons I prefer sometimes to buy games on Steam rather than not having to buy them, but having to install them through the Xbox Store. Yes.
Okay, I'll move over to the next item then, my friends. EVGA, which is a semiconductor manufacturer, correct? They do.
It used to sell video graphic cards. Yeah, sorry.
They stopped,
Yeah,
right?
they
Because
stopped.
they had some issue with Nvidia, but they are closing their official forums and moving to Reddit.
Yeah, it's good. Everybody should go to Reddit.
That's a good
That's where
idea.
people are.
That's a good idea.
I mean, if we have a Reddit, like, do you own your channel there? Like, do you own it?
No. Well, you can. Yeah, you can
You
be
don't own it.
moderator of your channel, so you can agree or disagree and remove the post and yeah.
But essentially, do you use it like Twitter and like Facebook? Like you have, okay, you have your space.
Are you using anything else than Reddit right now to get informed?
No, I mean, I type, the classic thing, you type in a question into Google and you put Reddit at the end.
Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna be Mastodon or the other Bluebird stuff. It's gonna be Reddit, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's interesting because Twitter used to house official communication a lot. That was a huge deal what it did, and now it obviously can't do that anymore. But no one else is doing it, and Reddit has a better shot than anyone.
And I think the other alternative in Discord, and we can see, I think Take-Two announced they would open a Discord server, but for me, Discord doesn't have this conveniency, and you just have to voluntarily log in or get into the Discord where you want to be. You're not really exposed to as many Discord in the way that you are exposed to subreddits.
And it's not searchable, which again, for company communication, tech support, all that kind of thing, that's really important.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next item on the list: Unity lays off staff and Axis behavior team. So, when it comes to the behavior team specifically, are we talking about the same thing that is happening across Meta and some other companies?
No, that's a different. That's DEI. Yeah.
Okay. So this has no relationship to that.
Probably not.
Okay. Well, what can we learn about this then?
Well, it's not the end for Unity. You remember they already slashed a lot of people back in January 2024. And it doesn't seem to be over, right? They are not recovering that well. Even if they reverted back to their previous, I think, tarification. No, not tarification, whatever the name is in English.
Yeah.
Like the price structure and stuff. Yeah, well, it's not helping.
Yeah, I feel like they might be getting caught in a vicious cycle now.
Yeah.
Because like developers just don't trust them. Yeah. And so why? You can get anything that you're going to get from Unity at a different engine. Yeah. And except without the looming notion they might screw you over.
I understand there are a couple projects that were announced as big, changes or projects they want to do as part of Unity, and then they either don't complete them or don't take them all the way or something like that. I'm not sure if this is related in any shape or form.
Well, and they screwed it up too many times. You can screw up once, twice. They did too many times.
Yep. I'm hoping that we can see some news on Godot, and if there's any big. I know that there were supposed to be some big changes or some updates on Godot.
I'll keep waiting. I'm still waiting for Godot.
Okay, you'll be our Godot informer.
No one's got that joke.
Gentlemen, I'll move over to, there's one more on the trends. Crysis 4 was put on hold as developer Crytek is next studio hit by layoffs. That's unfortunate. Because I was speaking to Crytek last year, and I understood that they were hiring a lot of people.
Does anyone use the Cry engine these days? Anyone do that?
The Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Trying to do a quick search to see if there's any.
Rise, Son of Rome. I liked Rise, Son of Rome. That was a pleasing little game. It was a silly but pleasing little game.
Wasn't that during the era of motion gameplay?
No. Well, yeah. It was an Xbox One. It was an Xbox One launch title, so it had voice commands through the Kinect, so you would shout to have your soldiers rain arrows or stuff like that.
Not awkward at all. Okay. Unfortunate, obviously. Hoping that they can recover. Then moving over to the rumors. Resident Evil 5 rated for. Wait. Are they doing Resident Evil 5?
That's
What?
the rumor part of the newsletter.
Oh, good lord. That was the worst
Yeah.
Resident Evil ever.
The what?
The worst Resident Evil ever.
What about 6? I thought 6 was the one that
Six
everyone.
was worse.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
both terrible. They're both terrible. Just like, let's just pretend they never happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Resident
no.
Evil 5 had some curious decisions surrounding racial depictions.
Yes.
Punching boulders. Anybody?
Yeah.
I mean, I think for some reason it feels like with the new president, more doors might be open when it comes to being a bit borderlines about culture, about gender, and stuff like that. So maybe, yes, there is a wind of change there, potentially not blowing in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'll move over to the second rumor here. Rainbow Six Siege 2 reportedly in the works with major engine overhaul and visual upgrades. That's something that potentially can blow some air
There
in
you
the.
go.
Yeah. I can see that working. I think
Reboot. Yes.
yeah. The big challenge for them, I think, with any two would be that they are a like very technical, very high skill, not high skill ceiling and low skill, high skill floor too. Like you cannot have fun with that game without a lot of information.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'd love for them to see how they could go about maintaining that kind of reputation, hardcore reputation, while maybe making it just a little more approachable.
Or you just basically sell again the same stuff to
Yeah.
the same players, right?
Yeah, and they're fine with that.
Version.
I feel like they get it, you know?
Did the Counter-Strike stuff from Global Siege, is it Global Siege or Go? Did Go stuff go to Go 2? Or is it
What?
Counter-Strike 2? Sorry. Did the previous Counter-Strike game
Yes,
transfer? Okay.
Let's go. Global offensive. Yes. Yeah, I think it was, but it's not the same because you just buy crates and cosmetic in Counter Strike. It has its own market. Here we are more talking about operators and things like that. It's more like buying characters, like you would pay in Apex Legends or something.
Yeah, it's a hero game at the end of the day.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, then I'll move over to the numbers then. Roblox shares drop by 20% as platform misses target active users. Well, didn't they have a lot of wasn't there an investigation that we reported on a while
Yeah,
ago?
they found that they were messing with the numbers, basically.
I think for me the interesting part is that there are potential scandals and sometimes there are accusation of pedophilia and things like this in there. But ultimately, what really moved the needle when it comes to the stock exchange is just the absolute numbers, right?
Yeah.
If active users are going down, then it's the wrong side. But the scandals, it feels like it doesn't really change the stock price. And usually in a company publicly traded, if it doesn't change your stock price, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely, unfortunately, quarterly reports mean that it's very hard to see, even midterm effects, but it is not difficult to imagine, parents wondering whether or not to get Roblox for their kids or whether or not to continue permitting their kids to play Roblox. Googling it, getting some headlines, not doing it. I think that making that connection is probably beyond the scope of quarterly reports and that kind of thing, but I think it's going to be an impact.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll move over to the next item. In the numbers, Paradox Interactive reports 17% revenue decline in 2024, acquires Haimimont Games to strengthen its core business. I'm not sure who Haimimont is. I'm assuming they do these 4K type games-ish, but let us know. What can we learn about this?
Tropico.
Yeah.
Surviving Mars.
Oh, Tropico and Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tropico is a great city builder. There's a lot to be said about Tropico. But yeah, I feel like they got to double down on their core strategy, folks.
Yeah, and I think we don't need to go to every single piece of news below. I would say they cancel Live by You. Let's not forget that also in 2024. And I think it shows that there are a lot of publishers that basically had not a great year in 2024, and this is probably something we've also noticed. It was not, except for a few successful titles, it's not been that great for the industry. And when you see Square Enix is down, Sega is down, the only one that is up is Remedy, but that's thanks to Alan Wake 2 that was released. So
Remedy's a lot smaller than those guys at the end of the day.
Yeah. Again, Alan Wake, it's only 2 million players, right? 2 million copies.
Yeah, but I think it is encouraging because I know there was definitely chatter about it being disappointing at the beginning. That you make a good game, you get a long tail, and I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, and just Remedy, we are talking about 11 million in one quarter, right? This is just a drop in the market. But for some reason, we hear a lot about their games. Control, Alan Wake, because they are usually very good games.
Yeah,
I think Control was like 3 million units.
Yeah.
Alan Wake is 2 million units when a good Resident Evil is going to do 7-8 million. So in the end, it's a lot of attention from the media, but when it comes to the dollar, it's not really there. And the other thing with Remedy is that they are not launching their games on Steam, which could also have a significant impact on PC. It's only on
why do they not do that?
They are published by Epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Control 2 will be self-published. So we will see very quickly what's the impact of being on Steam or not on Steam. If the game has similar quality, let's put it that way.
We know that they're working on a remake or a remaster of Max Payne 1 and 2. Hopefully that does something for them as well.
I can see that doing well. I can definitely see that doing well.
I mean, a company that decides to start self-publishing their title is probably in a good health, right? Means they don't need the funding.
Okay, then the last item then, because we already spoke about the other ones. Farming Simulator 25, top 3 million sales.
Yes.
It's
good.
Good on them. Yeah.
And probably 2.9 million in Germany. Because, I mean, it's a very German and Eastern Europe type of game, right, compared to some others.
The image I'm looking at here is really exciting. I have never seen this before. It looks very futuristic.
Yeah, they're planting rice transplants.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you see also all these truck simulators, Euro truck simulators, American truck simulators. There is an audience for that, and an audience that is ready to pay for DLCs of new states, new areas.
And they're locked in, right? They're not getting this anywhere else. So there you go.
For me, it's exactly the same pattern as the Sims, right?
Yep.
They are locked in, and they just pay by piece of content and piece of content. Yeah.
And then there's this huge audience now for digging holes. So
for what? Sorry.
For digging holes.
An audience that includes me.
You better start investing in this one.
Installation already finished during the podcast. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So speaking of digging holes, at the end of that, hole, I guess, you'll reach the end of the games industry executive summary. Thank you everybody for listening in. Gentlemen, thank you for chipping in and bringing your expertise and knowledge to us all. Again, if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing otherwise. Just head over to guysweekly.substack.com, guys, GIES weekly.substack.com. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Bye.